Hello, Patrick here. Eight questions with Cheetah Will View. Welcome to the show. Welcome to a Tuesday here in a cold Michigan. We are supposed to get some rain here momentarily, and then supposedly we're supposed to get our first snow tonight. So yay, winter, right? Um, well, thanks for coming to the show. Today we will be talking with, for many of you, a very familiar face. Um, we're going to be talking to VHS film buff, cinephile, and also rising celebrity interviewer, Gareth from Video Tasties. Of course, Gareth's channel is in the UK. He lives in the UK, and that's why we have to start a little early because they are 5 hours ahead of us in the UK. Many of us US YouTubers who have been on Garrett's show, uh, we're always on early in the afternoon because of the time difference. So I've known Gareth for a little bit now. I've been on his show several times. The video tasties quiz show a couple of times. Me and Gareth have done Andy Sidaris. In fact, I think that's really where we really started bonding together as friends is over Andy Sidaris films. He pinged me one day out of the blue and said, "Do you know who Andy Sidaris is?" and I was just like, "Yeah, I do know who Andy Sidaris is." And and so we started talking, and we both had the love of Andy Sidaris films. So we've watched, I think we now watched three of them together. Hello, DVD and film bloke. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Um, so Gareth will be here with us in about 15 minutes or so. I think maybe we watched two. We watched Malibu Express and we watched Return to Savage Island. So I think we're supposed to do one more together, one more Andy Sidaris films. He has asked people to watch the films with him. He does a lot of watch-alongs where he'll invite various tubers to come on and watch a movie with them. Of course, the Andy Sidaris movies are a lot of fun to watch because he's always has to scramble to because the movies have so much nudity in it. He's got to be super careful. But he loves the movies, and we like talking about them. There's a lot of fun facts there. Of course, he also watches a lot of other films too. He's a good horror fan. He likes horror fan movies. I mean, he likes horror movies. He's a fan of those. A good fan of action and adventure movies. Um, Him and Vaz and Ricky from the old AS, they have become almost like a new Three Stooges when they're together, and I mean that with the highest respect, because they make us all laugh when the three of them get together. The good friends. Uh, they can take anything the other can dish out, which had me worried there for a minute because I'm sitting there watching. I'm watching them all go at it and cat fight, and I'm going like, man, this is something else. Um, but no, they're very close, and they each support each other's channels tremendously. Uh, hey, Slasher Fred, how are you? Oh, wise guy, huh? Why I don't. Yeah, Stooges are awesome. You can't go wrong. And like I said, I mean that with some respect because I love the Stooges. I love anybody that makes me laugh. Right? I mean, we need more laughter in the world today. And when Vaz and Ricky and Gareth get together, um, one of the cool things about Gareth's channel too is that he is starting to interview people. He has been interviewing people. He interviewed Sam Furstenberg, who directed American Ninja. He's had Matthias Hughes on the show. He had Tommy McLaughlin, who directed Jason Lives, on his show. He's got a bunch of other interviews in the pipeline waiting to go, waiting to hear from. And I have to admit, man, I'm stoked for that. I mean, he's gotten some people on a show that just were amazing to me. Um, I actually took a break from my channel in August. I took a break. I wasn't going to be doing any live streams or anything else like that, other than the Sunday show and everything. And then Gareth happened to says, "Oh, I'm interviewing Matthias Hughes, by the way." And I'm going, "Well, son of a bitch, how did he do that?" And hell yeah, I'm going over there to watch that. And then I got over there and watching it, and then he was very generous. He said, most of the time in an interview session like this, you take questions from the chat. Well, Gareth did a little something different, as that he let us come up and ask in person a question from our guest. And so I got to go up there and hang out for about 10 to 15 minutes, hanging out with Matthias Hughes, which was amazing to me because I'm a huge fan of his. So, yeah, Gareth is he's like one of those celebrity interviewers now. Definitely. Um, and so that's a lot of fun. I really like it. Uh, uh, so of course, Gareth also is a huge VHS guy. He has a massive collection, probably the biggest collection in the UK that I've seen. In the UK, I've seen as far as VHS tapes. Not the biggest collection, maybe second best after Joe the Horror Man, but Gareth has a lot of tapes, a lot, and that's his passion. Uh, let's see. That's right. That's right, Fred. That actually might be on YouTube. The Curly Shuffle. You're right. Um, and of course, him being a new interviewer, such as him and I doing interviews. And last week I was commenting that my guest for the first time in all the shows that I've done, I actually had a guest that no called, no showed on me, and I commented on that, and then I got a message from Gareth saying that happened to me too, and lo and behold, it happened to be our new co-host of the Midnight Society, who suffers. It's known that he has really bad insomnia, as I do, and but I can tell you, Gareth, that I know that JT was horribly sorry. He wants to make it up to you. I'll be telling you that when you get here. I'll be telling you that, and I'm sure that you guys can get back together, and he'll more than make it up to you. And I personally think you should make him do an Andy Sidaris movie with you. That's what I think. I think you should have him pony up and do an Andy Sidaris film. Uh, that's just me. But yeah, that happens in our game, though. I mean, it happens, but we've been really blessed in the fact that it has not happened. I've lost a couple interviews through tech issues. The tech issues weren't going on. I've had some where a guest has had to cancel the last minute because they've gotten the job. Or recently, I had one guest had to cancel because he got invited to go to a award show to be a presenter of an award. Hell yeah, I'll reschedule that. Um, that does happen. Hi, Jamie. Welcome, welcome. We're going to be talking to Gareth. He'll be here momentarily, probably about 6 minutes or so. Um, yeah, tech issues are nasty. Of course, the one infamous tech issue I had, it was only on my 17th show, and I had asked this person to do a pre-show and so we could work out those tech issues, and they wouldn't do it. They just wouldn't do it. It's a 5-minute procedure. I talked to my guests about 5 minutes, for a pre-show. I just want to be able to. I just want to make sure they can get on connected with me through StreamYard, and but they wouldn't do it. And I kept on saying we need to do it. And then the day of the show came, and sure enough, we had tech issues, and we didn't get to do the show. So yeah, that was a little frustrating. All right. like now. I'm having tech issues right now.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
Oh,
All right.
made it.
Yes. It's So how are you doing, sir? How are you doing?
I'm all right.
I'm just glad I'm glad you made it, and glad you didn't, because you and I was
Okay.
just talking about you and I both had that we both lost a guest last week. Though your guest that was just that was just that was just insomnia. I have insomnia too, so I totally am in defense of JT. Totally in his defense. I understand it. He was so embarrassed, and
Yeah,
he's like, hey, what can you do? Uh,
yeah, it's fine.
anybody, yeah, anybody's having insomnia can tell you it's a beast. Um, you and the funny thing is though, it's like you want to go to sleep. You when you lay down, you want to go to sleep. Like I do this every night when I lay down. I put my CPAP machine on, I have a mask on, and I go to sleep.
Okay.
I have every intention of falling asleep, but once my lay down, it's like my mind turns on, and then I get all these memories that come rushing through, and before you know it, I look around and it's like the sun's coming up, and I haven't slept at all. Um,
Yeah.
so um, so here it is. Oh, let me make us a little bigger.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I can have you, or I can have the chat. One or the other. I can't have both.
Let's see. Layout, and there we go.
Yeah. What team is that?
Ta-da! All right. All right. Well, see, as an experienced operator, I can tell you right now that you are far more used to asking the questions than answering the questions.
Yes.
And
Your shortest video yet.
how did I know that? Because I was thinking, well, like, there we go. Relax, buddy. You're in good hands. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I know. See, you got those arms going up there. Like, I don't know about this.
My defense.
I don't know. What's he gonna ask me? Um.
Yeah.
Uh.
Well, you're two questions down already, so we've got 6 more.
Now,
You
have
asked me
you
how I
ever?
was.
See, Jamie saying that he has insomnia. Um. Uh. Yeah. Some nights it's hard to get to sleep. See, there's DVD and film bloke saying that.
Hello.
Yep. So yeah, it sucks. Now, have you ever been interviewed like this before? Have you been on the other end of being interviewed?
Nope. Not much of a
Man,
public speaker.
you're a public figure. You don't think that you're not a figure now?
Maybe to got some good friends out there.
I think that the first time that you accepted or asked the first celebrity to come onto your show as an interviewer, I think that once you did that, I do think that you became like you became like a public figure. I mean, especially since you started doing it more than once.
Yeah.
Hi,
Okay.
Files, how are you? Uh, those who want to share us out, please feel free to do so on your community tabs. That would be awesome. Um, but yeah, it is different, isn't it? Sitting in the chair and being asked questions, you being the one asking questions.
Yeah. I guess at least it's not general knowledge, so I'm not put on the spot there.
No, there won't be any VHS questions today. I can assure you. Not as far as technical questions go. Not as far as technical questions go.
Okay.
That was the only reason I eked that out was because Ricky sort of ambushed you on that. I have to admit.
Cheated. I called it.
And Cal says you look like the Kevin McAllister in that thumbnail picture from Home Alone.
Yes. Back in my younger days.
So what part of England are you from, Gareth? I mean, what city do you live in?
I live in the town of Weston-super-Mare.
And where is that at in relation to in England? What's your closest biggest city?
Bristol.
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 Okay. Now, if that in the
Which
south
is,
of that's the south, isn't it?
yeah, south of England, heading to
Okay.
the southwest.
Okay. So yeah, I managed to know just a little bit. Uh, let's see. Yeah, insomnia is a beast. I got mine. I got mine was I've always been a night owl because of my business in another life. But about 12 years ago, man, insomnia just came and moved in my house and never left. Yeah, it sucks. Um, what about you? You suffer from insomnia?
No, well, not really. I wake up in the night with ideas, and then I can't get back to sleep. That's about it.
Do you have a journal by your bed that when you wake up you write them down your ideas?
No, that's a good idea though, because yeah, I do usually forget them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you should get a journal by your bed, and then when you do wake up, you just jot them down real quick.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's and do you have a calendar?
Yes,
Let's see your
very
calendar.
useful.
Now, is your
Oh, I
calendar
don't know.
is it on your phone or is it on a paper calendar?
Yep, it's on the phone now.
Okay, okay. Next year,
But
next
yeah,
year, next year, you got to get one of these for your show.
okay.
Yeah, you got
What
to
is
get
that?
an old fashioned. You got to get an old fashioned one.
The only
I
thing
don't
is,
know. I don't know if you can see all that, but you can see where I have all. I'm just telling
yeah.
you. Yeah, see, I have all the dates for who I'm talking to, and um,
Trouble is, I'm out and about when I think of these things, and then so if I've got my phone with me, I can just put it in my calendar. Then
that's fun. That's fun. So how big is your town? I mean, is there a cinema there that you go to? Is there?
there are two cinemas. One's a multiplex. Well, one's a very old multiplex. It only has three screens, and it's very small and grubby. And then
Okay.
they built a new one about 5 years ago, which is a good one. But yeah, I haven't been for a while because not much worth watching yet.
Mm, yeah. They don't have any real. Yeah, I agree. I have still have not been to the movie yet. I have still have not been to the show yet. Not even after the pandemic. Not even since then have they. I just haven't gone.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Jamie says she knows someone in Bristol, other than
Okay.
you, and uh, but unfortunately, her and her friend don't speak anymore. Whoops,
Oh, okay.
drama. Oh, got some drama here. Says I know someone in Bristol, but she and I don't speak anymore. She betrayed me.
Oh
Drama.
shit.
Wow.
Oh.
Maybe I should just switch you out right now and bring in the
Yeah,
maybe,
chat to this.
or maybe I can bring Jamie up and you and I can question her together.
There you go.
Yeah.
What? Some
Yeah,
drama on here.
I'll bring Jamie on. And we'll ask her about that. Let's see. Kal-El saying slashed. Too bad AC is not charged anymore. And yeah. So when did you get into movies? How old were you when you got into movies? And do you remember what was the first movie that you saw?
uh no. Because I lived out in the country of Wales, so I was miles from anywhere.
Uh-huh.
And then back then there was three channels on the telly, and then there was nothing else to do, so I just watched a lot of telly. So
Oh my
basically from
God.
very
Did
young.
was it all British stuff? All the shows?
No, mostly American stuff, I think, back then.
Oh yeah. All right. So what was the first American show you remember watching?
Probably maybe $6 Million Man or Batman in '66, maybe. Show my age.
You know what? Personally, I was going to guess Charlie's Angels myself.
Maybe that was later on, yeah. I think.
Yeah, $6 Million Man. Yeah, I grew up on that one. That was a
Yeah,
fun show. That was a fun
yeah.
show. And back in the '70s TV was certainly different. But what's funny is like when we got cable, they started showing series from across the pond. And do you know what the
Ah.
first Okay, now I saw some shows that had cooperation, like Space 1999.
Ah, yes.
I saw a few Doctor Who's with Tom Baker, um, and but the show that I remember watching the most, as far as English goes, um, and that was The Professionals.
Ah, yes, I love The Professional.
Oh my gosh! I used to come. We used to have we used to have it on TV. That was our cable, and oh my gosh, it was
I
great.
must grab something while we're here. Where is it? Can't find it now. Typical. Lights on my eyes. Ah, there it is. Just making a mess.
You got hi, Mr. Bones. Oh, what? Oh, that's it. Look at that. Hell yes, that's it. That's the show. That's the show.
It wasn't. They banned it for the 80s, I think, in the UK.
They banned The Professionals.
Yeah. Well, two of the three actors, I think, these two.
Okay.
They passed away in the late 80s, early 90s, and then somehow the sole one said it was too violent a show, so he didn't want it shown on telly.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That show was a lot of fun. I would have to sit there and shake his hand and sit there and say, please don't do that, because it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very much. And here comes Vaz into the chat. It says here, hi Bodie and Doyle weren't quite Starsky and Hutch, but they were cool. Actually, to tell you the truth, they were sort of cooler than Starsky and Hutch. That was from what I remember from that show. They were cooler because they got
they had a lot more spy stuff, didn't they?
Yeah, they got more. They got the. And that's actually my second show I was going to talk about. Jamie mentioned The Avengers was her first British TV show experience.
Ah, yes.
Now mine, yeah. As far as mine was The Professionals before The Avengers. Believe it or not.
Saint?
Believe it or not, I remember watching The Professionals, and then I discovered The Avengers. And unfortunately, at the time, the only Avengers they used to show were the Diana Rigg. They didn't show any other ones. The Honor Blackman or was it Zelda King, Tara King. Yeah, we didn't get to see those until later on. In fact, I saw the New Avengers before saw. Yeah, which okay. Like, we can both agree that show was. I mean, come on, Joanna Lumley back in
yes.
I don't know. I don't care what anybody says. The UK has some great shows.
Yeah. Old shows.
Now, who was your first celebrity crush that you remember from after watching a little bit of telly? Did you have a crush, a television crush or a movie star crush? Every guy has it.
I suppose as a teen, it was Winona Ryder.
Oh, okay, all right. Remember Winona Ryder back in her day?
Yeah, a big crush on pictures, and I think I even attended a royal premiere of one of her films, but she wasn't there, so got to walk the red carpet though, and Prince Charles was in the audience.
She was probably over at a store shopping.
It was about that time. Yeah.
I'm just hoping that she paid for it. Yeah, she seemed to have a bit of a bump in her career. I think a lot of the young stars back in her day, they seem to have their fair share of bumps and bruises.
Yeah, she exhausted, so she quit Godfather 3, didn't she? And then left us with Sofia Coppola.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people still have forgiven her for that. Kevin saying the Avengers could definitely give James Bond a run for his money. Hell yeah! Honestly, I would take Steve, Gambit, and Purdy right now, right here. I mean, those three were just badass.
Did you
That,
watch the Avengers movie with Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman?
oh yeah, I did. It's funny. I tell you what's funny about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a big Sean Connery fan, right?
Oh yeah.
So, Sean Connery, toward the end of his career, he was doing movies, but he seemed like after every movie that he was doing, he hated it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm signing on. I'm going to sign on. I'm going to do this movie, and then he do the movie, and then he come out, and then he would sit there and just trash it. And he trashed himself. He trashed himself. That's the thing. He sit there and say, I don't know why I did this. It's not very good. I'm not very good. You know,
Yeah.
I think
then he kicked himself because he turned down the Matrix and Lord of the Rings trilogy. So that's why he ended up doing other films that were no good.
though he still did. Okay, I have to give him. I would have to agree with him on one thing. I would have to agree with him that the Avengers movie was not very good. No, it was
But
not.
he was good in it.
He was all right. I mean, he could have been better script for him.
Oh,
I
made no
I
sense.
think the two movies I remember that I really liked him in a lot. Never Say Never Again, the Bond movie, which
Yeah.
I didn't know until I was talking to you and Ricky. I did not know that was a non-canon James Bond movie. I thought it was one of the James Bond movies. I didn't know. I didn't know it wasn't canon. Because he was awesome in that movie. He really was. I mean, I like it when James Bond I like it when he gets angry. When he shows some steel. I hate the one-liners. I hate the jokes. I just no. But I like it. I like a good serious Bond that brings. He's bringing the thunder down.
Yeah.
And I liked him in the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I enjoyed that film. Yeah.
I thought he did really good. I thought that movie was really fun. Maybe the CG might have been a little bit out there a little bit, but the sense of adventure and the sense of the daring do, the villain who the big reveal, the villain. I mean, I thought it was just a really fun movie, and
yeah, that's what it was. It was fun, isn't it? So that's what you want.
Have you ever watched a movie where you really liked it a lot, and then hear a performer take it down?
No. Maybe
Yeah,
Highlander 2.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
What's your favorite movie that you like that everybody else seems to go like, huh? Maybe they're a little bit like, really?
Silly films, I guess. My Name is Bruce with Bruce Campbell. And maybe The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. I've not found many people that like that yet.
Yeah. Yeah, both those. Yeah. Disappointed with the Bruce Campbell movie. Disappointed. I bought that and I was really excited for it, and I was disappointed. Never saw
Were
Ford
you
Fairlane.
expecting Evil Dead 2 type film, or?
I like the Evil Dead 1. I like this. I like the serious. I like the serious side because the first one was so ferocious. And it's like you had sitting there at the edge of your seat, and you're like, this is amazing. Because you're sitting there going like, yeah, I'm getting this is creeping me out a little bit. Which is, to a horror fan, that's the best thing. That's the best compliment you could pay to a movie, is when you're sitting there going like, yeah, this movie's getting underneath my skin.
Yeah.
Now, has there been a horror film that you watched that has scared you, that has sat there and was like, oh, hell no?
I guess the Conjuring ones have been the first two anyway. I've been quite successful making my skin crawl, but yeah, that sort of stuff, paranormal stuff rather than slashers.
Yeah, supernatural horrors. your jam more than slasher. Yeah, me too. You and me both. See, the fifth Beatles here. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Mike.
I like both silly and serious Bond. My favorite Bond will always be Dalton. Actually, tell you the truth, that is actually my favorite. That is actually my favorite Bond too. My favorite would be Dalton, Brosnan, then Connery. Yeah.
No. I'm always a mole man.
Oh, Brosnan had the babes though, didn't he?
Yeah.
He had the babes. Oh my God. of all the Bond girls, Brosnan had the best.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, look at that. He had Terry Hatcher. He had Michelle Yeoh. Michelle Yeoh. He had Michelle Yeoh. He had Sophie Marceau. Okay. He had Denise Richards, but not everybody's perfect. And he had Halle Berry, and he had Rosamund Pike.
He's doing all right, isn't he?
Roger Moore, he had a girl that was like 19 years old, and he was supposed to be fawning all over her, and it was more like creepy as hell. It's like, oh, geez, oh, creepy.
It hasn't aged well, has it? That one.
You could even see Roger Moore going like, yeah.
he wasn't like that. Yeah,
how much am I getting paid for this again?
Even behind the scenes, he was a bit, what's going on?
Yeah, I think so too. So supernatural horror is your jam, huh?
Yeah. Well, I watch slashers because they're fun, but yeah, if you want to scare.
What did you know about The Conjuring 2? Wasn't that called the Enfield incident?
Yeah. So the film is nothing. I think the Warrens were consulted, but they never actually came here. So I think it's 99% rubbish. But yeah, if you watch the BBC, I think did an Enfield incident about the two guys that actually did investigate it, which is probably it's more serious and stuff. But it's like a BBC TV movie. But yeah, that's a good version of it. But yeah, the Warrens weren't really involved at all, I think. But yeah, so they took some liberties.
What was your Hobbs going Kiss Army for life? Yeah, I sent him an article saying that Kiss has finally decided, they decided where their last show is going to be at. And I think it's going to be right where it started at. And that's Jurassic Park, because they're about as old as dinosaurs. So
I thought their last concert was in Dubai last year.
I was gonna say it makes. I mean, I don't know. It's almost like they're chasing down the Rolling Stones to see which bands the last member standing. Just the Rolling Stones. Because I think they've lost. I think they've each lost 2 members, haven't they?
I'm not sure about Kiss, but yeah, definitely the Stones are down.
Yeah, no, the Stones got 3 of the 4 still, right? They've only lost their drummer. Yeah. And then I think Kiss lost a drummer too, Eric Singer. I think he lost. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
Well, it's like Phil Collins still does live shows, but he can't play the drums and he can't stand up. So there's not much of a show in a stadium, really.
I think he's ready to join Kiss, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
He's got his own personal wheelchair already.
Bless him.
That's terrible. I'm sorry. I'm just joking. I'll be hearing about that later. What are you making fun of Phil Collins like that? What kind of bastard are you?
Yeah.
I was a Genesis fan. I was a Phil Collins fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Phil Collins on his own. He had a really nice run, didn't he?
Yeah. And then he was acting as well and everything.
Yeah, he was doing his acting as well, and yeah, he had a nice run there. Now, how old are you when you first got into music?
Don't know. I think the Birdie song by the Tweets was my first 7-inch single. So, do you know that one?
By the Tweet? No, don't know that one. I've
You'll know the
actually.
song.
Oh God! Oh really? That's it? Oh, God. I think the only one. I think the first English song I ever heard was do 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 do. Benny Hill. No, no. Uh, now.
Yeah.
So what was the first record that you bought that for yourself?
Well, that was the first one I bought for myself. The
Oh, okay, the
Tweet,
Tweet.
but I think I got Survivor's Eye of the Tiger. I wore that one out.
Okay, all right. And
I
the
didn't
first
have.
and the first movie you ever bought?
I think it was Crocodile Dundee.
Nice.
Back in it's about the time retails came out. I could afford
Now
them.
that was of course VHS. You are a VHS. You probably had the. Yes, I think you probably had the second biggest VHS collection of anybody I know on the tube. Maybe Joe the Horror Man. He might actually have you beat. But as far as I mean, he's got rooms.
Yeah, I wish I had rooms.
How many VHS tapes do you have?
Well, I started counting them. It was over 2,000, and I said loads more to count. So it's probably about 3,000 here somewhere.
Wow, nice. What's the appeal to VHS for you, Gareth?
Nostalgia, I guess. Because where I saw a lot of films back in the day.
Okay. See,
I had a video collection back then.
I am ironically praising Phil Collins like Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. I thought he was praising Huey Lewis on the News.
Oh, he does both, I think.
And Whitney Houston.
Oh yeah, all the greats.
That's right. Bones is sitting there. Holy moly! Video Tasties, the video store. Yeah, you know what? You could do a store. I heard. I think Ricky mentioned to me that there was a store in England that it's a video store, and that's all they do is they rent VHS tapes to people.
So yeah, I've seen them.
Now, have you been to that store yet?
No. I'm guessing saying it's about 3 or 4 hours away is not much to an American, but it's a long way for the UK.
Oh, that's a long way anywhere. So yeah. No, I just didn't know. I didn't know if you had been there yet or not. It just seems like a place like if you're going to go anywhere, I could see you driving 4 hours to there.
It would be my mecca, yes.
Yeah. Come on, let's go. You know, I never even heard you mention this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. But are you married by chance? Are you
Yes.
single? You're married. Okay.
I'm married.
So how is your wife also a big cinephile like you? Does she get excited for it? No.
Complete opposite.
So she's a DVD and Blu-ray collector then.
Well, no, she doesn't collect any physical media. She watches it on Netflix or streaming or. She watches rom-coms and Lifetime movies and Christmas hallmarks.
And of course you sit down and watch those with her too, don't you?
Of course.
That's a good husband right there. That's a good husband. The one who will sit there and sit there and watch some of those Lifetime movies. It's funny. I didn't, I really didn't get into that until afterwards. Until after. And then I started watching those and I got into them. So what can you do, right?
Well, Bruce Campbell was in one last year, Hallmark Christmas film.
That's right.
And he's doing another one this year, I think.
And he's actually played Santa Claus before in a couple of TV series. Yeah, and there's more. There's a lot of people with horror backgrounds that have gone over and done Hallmark movies. So yeah, in fact, one of our, I think you mentioned Fred Olin Ray.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, he's doing them now.
You had Fred Olin Ray on, and he does Hallmark movies.
Not a boob or chainsaw in sight.
No. Was it, how did you decide to get into the interview game? What was your inspiration?
What was it? Well, it was Terrence McGuana's fault.
Oh yeah. And
Well,
how is that Terrence's fault?
well, he was interviewing Stephen, don't know his name now, the stuntman, and I've always been interested in stunts and stunt people and stuff like that. So I thought, oh, I'd love to chat with him. So then I got his details, and then didn't hear anything back. And then I thought, oh, I'll try someone else. And I thought, oh, Sam Furstenberg's got a YouTube channel. He's done a lot of action films. Maybe I'll just chat to him. And he said yes. And then after that, then Stephen said yes. And then sort of I got a 5-page list of names and emails now.
Now, the first time that you talked to them, you got in contact with them, you started talking to them. Were you pretty nervous, like you are now?
Yep.
I don't know why. I don't know why you're nervous now. I'm sitting here watching you, going like, but he's cool as an ice cube when he's interviewing. But it is, like I said before, it is different from when you're being asked the questions, though.
It is, yes. I can just ask them something and then sit quietly for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, you interviewed Sam Furstenberg. I remember when I saw that, and then the Bat told me, he says, hey, you got to go over and check that out, because we had just got done doing the first 2 American Ninja movies. And so we went over there and we watched it, and it was like, it was so cool to see. And I was sitting there going, look at that. He got Sam Furstenberg. I was so freaking impressed. I was like, this is so cool. I mean, that's a heavy hitter, for someone like me.
He's such a nice guy. I think he likes to chat about the films and everything in his career. So
sure,
yes, quite easily.
I think a lot of those old directors and producers and some of the older actors, it's funny, we see them still around, but and we think that, wow, they're always so busy, they're always busy, they're always being interviewed. They must get asked 30 times a week, 40 times a week for interviews. And then when you when you talking to them, you find out that's not so much the case, is it, right?
Yeah, because he's going to see American Ninja stuff that's being shown, and he does an introduction and a Q&A, but that's about it. And yeah,
he doesn't get asked about his career too much, or
not other stuff apart from American Ninja. Really, that's about it.
Let's see. DVD and film book. Hallmark movies. A sign of someone with no taste. No offense to Gareth White. Yeah, but what about me? What about me? I have great taste, and I watch Hallmark movies. I have like 55. I have 55 to 60 films. I'm not kidding you. I will buy.
I don't think they're available physical here.
Yeah, you know what? They're one of the few physical media companies that are actually putting them out. Yes, that's let's put it this way: Hallmark is releasing more physical media than probably Disney is at this point in time.
Well, yes.
Look who's here! It's the mighty Bat, Al Lucard.
My nemesis. One of them.
Wait a minute, I thought Nemesis. I thought you guys were like a dynamic duo. Now, speaking of Nemesis, who do you see more as your nemesis? Do you see Ricky as your nemesis, or do you see Vaz as your nemesis?
No. Vaz is solid. He's a golden bloke. Ricky's just a twat. I speak to, tolerate. Well, sometimes I tolerate him. Most of the time I don't.
Don't let Gareth fool you. You 3 guys are magic. If Pablo was in the mix, I don't know if the YouTube could contain the 4 of you guys. You guys are really close friends, and you could definitely see that. I remember I was watching one of your shows and I got a little concerned myself, and then all 3 of you are going like, "Nah, we're all good. This is friendship."
Yeah, we can say anything to each other. Everyone's fine.
I'm sitting there watching and going like, man, are these guys? Did they lose? Did they, are they? They look like they're ready to tangle. And all three of you guys privately were emailing me saying they're like, it's good. It's nothing but fun. You guys get really spirited though, don't you?
Yeah, that's why I came up with it, because it's a bit of fun that we can just let loose.
you guys do. It cracks me up. Yeah, you like to create games too. You created you had your trivial games. You and me got our ass smoked by Sophie.
Yep.
That was
That's a good point.
The only thing you have not done yet, I don't think you will be able to do that because I think it's retired. But you didn't do the chili pepper challenge. Now, did you get asked to do that?
Nope, I'm not a mug.
You're not a what?
A mug. An idiot.
I wouldn't have done it either, Gareth. Did you watch that? Did you watch it?
Well, I was judge on one of them that he did when he was
I missed the
vomiting.
second one.
Ricky was vomiting into a bucket. So yeah, he's welcome to do all that.
Oh my gosh, those guys! Would you ever do anything like that? Like what Ricky and Pablo does? Would you ever consider doing something like that yourself?
Something lowbrow and degrading? No.
Just yeah, it's hilarious though, right?
Well, yeah. See, he's doing physical challenges. I'm doing mental challenges. That's why I'm going to be watching Spice World, the movie, on Boxing Day.
Which movie are you going to be watching?
The Spice Girls movie.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Who's your favorite Spice Girl?
Can't stand any of them really, but if they kept their mouths shut, Baby Spice or Ginger Spice maybe.
But Jerry Halliwell can sing though.
Well, I want you to talk then.
Oh, I don't think I've heard her talk too much, but I definitely know she can sing. Oh my gosh, none of them. He says, I don't know. You might lose your British card for that. They might revoke your union.
Yeah, they might actually.
Dog Films. Mike's DVD and Blu-ray collection. He's saying hello.
Hello,
we're making Bones laugh. That's awesome. It's always good to see people laugh. Yeah.
Is he laughing with us or at us? Or me?
No, he's laughing with us, definitely. My monitor is sick. I decided to get sick yesterday, so I don't know. I know I trouble. I'm going to do some troubleshooting. I'm going to do some troubleshooting after our interview is over with and see if I can get it to go. Oh, I hate when I see that shit because I always think of because like if your computer gets sick, you can't take it to a repair shop anymore. They just tell you to replace it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Now, have you always lived in Bristol your whole entire life?
No, I spent 25 years in Wales. Darkest Wales.
What did you do in Wales?
Not much. There was no jobs. That's why I moved out.
Okay. And
then I moved to Bristol.
And yeah, I mean, yep. What do you like about your town, and what are two things that you like about Bristol, and two things you wish could be better?
Well, I'm about 45 minutes from Bristol in Weston-super-Mare, but now, so I keep moving further out every time we move. So Bristol's great though as a city centre. It's got the shops and the restaurants and everything, but yeah, there's not much. The place I'm in is Weston-super-Mare, and it's got the sea, well, where the River Severn opens to the sea, and then so I can see Wales from my Cardiff and stuff like that from the beach here. But yeah, it's got a beach. That's a sandy beach. That's about it.
Are winters pretty bad for you? I mean, do you
cold and wet?
Do you get exposed to storms?
Not really, no. We're quite sheltered because of the estuary and stuff like that.
Okay. So tell us. I want to know this. I want to know if I want to know your 5 favorite English films. What are your 5 favorite English films? Because you guys talk a lot. I noticed this when you and Ricky and Voz were talking about like the best action films or best horror films. The one thing I've always want to try to do is, because I have yet to see anybody do this. I've yet to see anybody do this. Is I would love to know. I'd like to see your top tens of English supernatural, English action adventure, English drama or whatever. I mean, you guys do drama better than anybody else. You guys do historical dramas better than anybody else. I feel you guys do some really good science. You guys do some great science fiction. You guys do. There's a English. Television and movies. They're pretty outstanding. I mean, I feel there's a lot of a great English series and movies that are better than what we have over here.
Are there? I haven't seen them. I don't watch many dramas, so that counts a lot of films out.
Well, we already mentioned 3 shows already that were outstanding.
TV shows, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
old TV shows, they're good, but yeah, films, I can't think of many. Gandhi. No. I can't think of any British films I know, actually.
Let's see. Hunt Whales in Wales. Doctor Impossible Counter Punch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hunt Whales in Wales. And Pick Leaks.
No, that's just racist. I won't have that blocking.
Mr. Bones was laughing about what you said about Ricky's challenges. Yeah, those Ricky and Pablo are they're a whole different ball of wax. But
just
you know
attention
what?
seeking.
Huh? You know what though? No. You know what? Maybe at the first, but I don't now. Honestly, I think they do it more to entertain themselves than anything else. I think we just happen to be along for the ride, I think they do it. I think they do it to make themselves laugh.
Well, they're the only ones that are laughing at it, so yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I do too. Okay. Yeah, I do too. I can't help it. Those 2 guys together. That's the first round of the chili challenge. The funniest thing I've seen. That's the funniest thing I've seen on YouTube. I was laughing the whole time through. Those all were insane.
Yeah, they regretted that.
So let's see. You mentioned what did you mention for your British films? Five action British films.
I don't know. Can we just films?
Should we just put the latest? Should we just put the 5 latest Liam Neeson movies out and call it a day?
Well, I think does that count? Because he's all American financed.
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't think we don't really do action films over here. I'm trying to think of any.
You guys do and the Brits do good horror too. I mean, you guys do horror. You guys do a pretty good job at that too. I mean, after all, you did give us the barge people.
Yeah, that's a watch. Thanks for recommending that.
I don't know if I can keep a straight face, Gareth. I'm sorry.
It's like an Al recommendation, that one. Something by Godfrey Ho.
Yeah, that Al Ducard, he does recommend some. He does recommend some crazy ones, doesn't he?
So yeah, I watched them. So yeah.
No, but you got 3,000 VHS tapes behind you. I just cannot believe that if you walk there, you could not pick out 5 English films, action films that you would love. I cannot believe you could not pick 5.
I can only see one, so. Of
course, now he's going to pick out 5 Bond.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't think we make it. Death Wish 3 was filmed in London. Does that count?
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. Was it really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a rundown estate in London that they were going to tear down, so they filmed Death Wish 3 there.
There you go. There's one film you can count right there. You can count you can count Attack the Block as one.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
That's not, uh, Aliens was filmed here. That's about it.
Life Force was filmed there.
Right, but yeah, plenty of horrors here, but not much action.
I'm gonna have to go back there and rethink that because I'm having all this trouble now too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's terrible.
Honestly,
That's terrible. That's terrible because I do watch a lot of English independents. I do. I've watched a lot of English horror, independent horror. You guys, well, of course, you know what it is. I mean, and let me ask you this question: do you think? I mean, we are. It's sort of like a little bit alarming. Here we are. We're talking about this, but we really can't mention 5 recent films.
no.
Do you feel the English movie industry? Do you feel like they block young stars from blossoming? Do you believe? I mean, do you think every time we're watching The Crown over here, and
Wow.
I look over there, and I see Imelda Staunton. I see I see Leslie Manville. I see the usual suspects. Always a lot. Judi Dench. Playing Diana.
What? Judi Dench.
Isn't she playing? Isn't she playing? Princess Diana?
I don't know. I've not seen that one.
Okay. Bones was mentioning Sweeney Todd. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see. Which one?
MMR
Tim Burton one.
Let's see. The MMR James. The BBC did some great ghost stories. Yeah, you got the English do horror well.
Yeah.
That I will definitely say. Let's see. One of the favorite action and adventure animated comedy series I used to watch and love was Inspector Gadget. Wasn't Inspector Gadget an American one? Did we?
I thought that was a French one. Well, the original cartoon I thought was a French one.
And so then we Americanized it over here with Don Adams.
Yeah, I thought it was not American or Japanese, but I think it was French or Japanese, but I thought it was European. And then it was an American dub, but I could be wrong.
Now I do know. I mean, if I went back to cult films, like do you have UFO on VHS?
What, the TV show?
Yes.
No, I don't think I do. I think I had a UFO documentary. That's about it. No, I don't have UFO.
Oh, okay.
Hard to tell sometimes. What I can't remember.
That was a cool show. Way ahead. You know what it is? Way ahead of its time, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you were going to introduce anybody to English cinema, what are some of the films that you would introduce them to? What would be 4 or 5 shows you introduce them to? Movies or TV series?
Maybe or I don't watch much British TV actually anymore either. So, damn.
Because you still got because you got one of the longest running serials going on, right? Coronation Street. That's like that's been running along for years.
Yeah.
And what's the other one I just heard? I just read about Holby, I think it's called.
Yeah. So Holby City, which is a spin-off of a TV show called Casualty. So one's the Casualty A&E and one's the hospital.
And both of them are still running, right?
Yeah. Casualty started in the 80s. That was filmed in Bristol until the mid-2000s, and then it moved to Cardiff. And I think Holby's filmed in Cardiff now. But yeah, a lot of young actors got their start in those TV shows. Like if you look at anyone's IMDb, right at the bottom there'll be The Bill, which was a police show on the other channel, ITV, and then the other one would be Casualty or Holby City. That's where people get their start. Like Australians get their start in Neighbours or Home and Away, which is soap operas over there, and then British actors in the hospital dramas here and police.
So you guys still have a really strong TV presence, right? you can still watch. You can still turn on the television, and you're going to see British shows in the majority versus American shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the time of day.
Oh, oh, right. Yeah, yeah. Because you guys are your TV's a little spicy, isn't it?
It is these days. It never used to be. But yeah, they get like HBO gets away with so much. It's nothing on that level, but yeah, it's like HBO probably 90s or something like that, maybe.
I thought English TV shows were allowed to show nudity after certain hours.
Yeah, after 9 p.m. in the evening,
Okay.
or later if they can. That's about it.
Even though we have streaming services over here, I don't think you see that over here on our shows quite yet. I think that'll happen, but I don't think it's quite there yet.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yeah, I saw a lot of 70s movies after 9 p.m.
Let's see. Dr. Impossible says British TV has some incredible anthology series. Thriller, created by Brian Clemens. Brian Clemens was a machine. That guy, he created.
Yeah, so many things.
Chiller made it into the 90s, which was horror supernatural. Now there is one show I do got to talk to you guys. I'll talk to you about, because I do think they lifted and pretty much. Obviously, I think they just pretty much just borrowed everything about this series and said, "Hey, we'll call it. We're gonna take everything from the show. Then we're gonna polish it up and call it Black Mirror." And that was
yeah.
Black Mirror is honestly, it's. I read some of the synopsis for the episodes. Why don't you just call it Outer Limits and just call it a day? That's really what you got. That's really what that show did. I'm just sitting there going like, oh yeah, they're not even trying to hide their plot. They're just listening.
Yeah, I guess just by making it a few one-off episodes.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I can understand it. I mean, the way I look at it was, I said, well, you know what? Hey, as long as they're keeping the stories alive, that's okay. But I do think though, if they do interviews or what have you, do press, I think they really do need to acknowledge that, hey, we loved Outer Limits, the remake of the 90s.
Yeah.
And we based our show based on a lot of those episodes. I would be down with that, but to sit there and say, because you hear people talk about, oh, Black Mirror, it's like the best thing since sliced cheese. And you're going like, yeah, how about this? It's the best thing since Outer Limits, where they take the
Yeah, I guess it's because it's one of those things like, what's it? James Cameron getting sued for Terminator because it was so close to an episode of the 60s Outer Limits, wasn't it? Stuff like that.
Right.
It was in his memory because when he was younger, he might have seen it, but he doesn't remember the episode itself. But
let's see. Kel saying, let's see. Boglins. Okay, Boglins. I used to watch the 90s version. Yeah. Let's see. I used to watch the. Whoops, I missed it. I used to watch the 90s version of the Tomorrow People. Don't remember that one.
I remember the original. I don't remember that.
Oh, they show the. I think they show the bogs. I guess that must be boobs or whatever. Yeah. You think it's more Twilight Zone? No. Yeah, but if you look at the stories though, Cal, honestly, if you look at the stories in the Outer Limits, you can see they're just almost verbatim. Let's see. There was once a horror anthology series Showtime did called The Hunger. I think that was based off the the movie. I remember that.
Okay.
Let's see. And Ghostwatch just got released on Blu-ray. Controversial BBC drama that was made in 1992, but was shown as a Screen One drama. People thought it was a live event. Oh gosh, I heard about that too on Halloween. Yeah. Is the BBC? I mean, the BBC is still the big dog over there too, right? As far as TV series go, right?
Yeah, this well, that was it. We in the UK we have to pay. It's called a license, but I guess it's a subscription these days to the BBC to get their stuff. So there's no ads on it.
You have to pay for the BBC now?
ever since day one, 50s, 40s, whatever it was. It's called a
Wow.
license to watch telly. So if you watch, but people are getting away with it now by not saying they don't have an aerial, or and I think they don't watch BBC.
I didn't
So
know
there's
that.
BBC One, BBC Two, BBC, BBC Four, all doing different types of programming, and
And
there's offshoots of that. And
you have to pay for each channel?
no, just one, just for the BBC in general.
Okay.
The radio as well, it covers as well. Radio stations, there's 5 radio stations, I think, plus local radio stations by the BBC as well. So,
see, Cal mentioned about TV shows. Yeah, we could get into TV shows. The British TV series are outstanding. He mentioned Luther. Luther's there.
yes.
Yeah, Prime Suspect.
Mhm.
Yeah, Broadchurch, which I'm looking
You
for.
ever watch Inspector Morse?
Yes. And I used to watch the PBS special shows. He had Hercules Poirot.
Poirot, yes.
Yeah, with David Satchett.
Yeah, those are my 2 favorites from that time.
Probably one of the most famous but forgotten series, and I still look for it. I don't think I'll ever find it. I'll probably have to look for it. But Blake 7, Ground
I think
Setting.
I got one VHS.
So. That's Ground Setting. Blake 7 was just wow. That was a great show. Fantastic show. Let's see. Let's see. Question for a panel. What is better movie? Best of the best. Question for the panel. What's the better movie? Best of the best or Point Break?
Point Break.
Point Break. As far as what? Like the
best story? What?
Yeah, well, that would be best of the best. Point Break. Oh.
They all just cry at the end. They don't cry in Point Break.
See, Point Break got star power, but he watched the best of the best more. God, that was too funny. Okay. What's a better? Well, that's not a British question there, Hobbs. That's an American question. What's a better musical group, the Bangles or Kiss?
Polar opposites, aren't they?
Well, just for officially, I'm gonna have to sit there. I don't know. I have to say Kiss. I have to say Kiss, but
yeah, I'm gonna say Kiss. If I'm gonna listen to something, it's Kiss over Bangles.
Yeah. I mean, I much as I love the Bangles, but I mean, I do recognize Kiss as being musical giants as they were. Now, if you would have came and said, "Who's better music group, Kiss or the Rolling Stones?" That would be, that would be, or Kiss or Boy George, Let's see. The Bengals because they don't hate hip hop. Oh, see, here we go. So what are music? What movies? What are your favorite movies of this year? What have you watched this year that's really impressed you? Or you don't really watch modern movies, do you?
No, I don't. I do occasionally. I do like the Batman this year. I really liked, and Top Gun Maverick. But yeah, the Marvel films have been a letdown this year. So there's not been many big films. We don't get the summer blockbusters anymore.
Do you feel like the UK is tired of the superhero movies? Or I mean, is that something that do you sense as a viewer or your music channel or movie channel? Do you feel your countrymen are tired of the cookie cutter movies? The Marvel movies. Do they?
I think so. Yeah, I don't. Well, we're only a limited amount of money for Disney around here because I think they only make tens of millions if it's a big hit. So they don't really care about us. So they probably wouldn't care. I don't think Black Panther's doing very well at the moment in the UK anyway.
Yeah, I guess I was reading about it. I mean, I guess it's made its money back already after the first weekend, globally.
Yeah.
But that now I have to sit there and say that I will probably want to go see that because I do think that, as far as making a original film, organic film, not cookie cutter, I do think that they probably did a better job by that. Because the first Black Panther was really strong. It was a really strong. It was definitely one of the better Marvel movies, that's for sure. I enjoyed it very much. Even though the ending was sort of like we stopped killing the villains.
Yeah, he needed to come back. People thought he was going to be in the second one.
Now, what have been some of the best movies that you've seen this year? And what makes you go back and watch the classics more than modern? Because when you do your watch along parties, and which I want to talk to you about in a minute here. Well, let's talk about that now. That's a good question now. So tell us about your watch along movies and how do you decide what to watch and how do you decide who to watch it with?
Well, basically, I start with VHS, so anything pre-2003, basically. So that's why they're old movies. I do go into DVDs if there's a certain film that's not out on VHS. But yeah, basically, I just sit here and go, I fancy watching that. And then I've got a list of people, and then I watch their videos, and then I pick up on their likes and dislikes, and then I ask them, or if I do a live show, and then say, offer out, who wants to watch this with me, sort of thing.
Cal's got a question here. How is A24 treated in the UK? Is A24 considered a big studio to you? Do you hear a lot of your peers, a lot of your friends talk about movies from A24, or is it just?
It's about 50-50, I think. Some people like it, some people hate them.
So 50-50. Yeah. That's about right. That's about right. They're
I haven't seen one I'll want to watch twice.
Gareth is the man. I think that was the greatest answer ever. Yeah, that's the greatest answer ever. Though it's funny because I didn't get a chance to finish. I didn't get a chance to watch a Hunter x Hunter that came out on IFC Midnight. So I went ahead and I watched the ending of it. I put the on YouTube like this because I heard about the ending, but I haven't seen it yet. So I turned on the ending, and I'm sitting there. It's 5 minutes long. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm going like, "Oh my god, that's like so fucking crazy." It's like I'm going like. So again, I just want to ask a question like, how is Hereditary better than this? Could someone explain that to me? Because the end of Hunter x Hunter. Oh my God, Gareth! It's a mind blower. It's a mind blowing movie. I'm just like, see when a movie have you? What's the last time you watched a movie? What's the last time you watched a movie and came off going like, what the hell? Like in shock of what you're watching. What's the last movie that made you really like sit up straight and go like, holy shit?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything recent anyway. This year, no, nothing springs out.
Let's see. I think saw that. Mike says the real Fifth Beatle says Wakanda Forever is awful. Here's my one complaint about Wakanda Forever, is that they had him fighting Namor, the Submariner. I think if you're gonna fight Namor, the Submariner, you shouldn't have had Ironheart. That was a bad mistake. I didn't like that at all. I'm going like, if you're gonna do that, then put Stingray in there, because Stingray is a much older character and he would have fit in that. He would have fit the narrative a lot better. But they put Ironheart in there, and I didn't like that. I'm like, dude, that's really Ironheart? I mean, that's just off the shelf. You should have put Stingray in there. It would have been more badass.
They're limited on rights because that's why it's new Namor or Namor rather than old Namor. So they couldn't use the old version because he's too close to Aquaman. So they had to use the newer version, and that's why they had to. Maybe that's why they had to use that. Was it Ironheart because he's new as well?
They still should have put a Stingray in it. I was hoping, like, here's our good friend Ricky. What would happen if you were interviewing somebody with the
Block him. We can laugh at you as much as we like.
Gareth has a tremendous sense of humor. He also is a, and I mentioned to everybody before the show, you and I had known each other a little bit before, but then you came to me and you said, "Hey, do you know who Andy Sidaris is?" and I'm going, "Oh, hell yeah!" And then you suggested that we do some watch-alongs. I knew right then and there that you and I were going to always be friends. As soon as I heard that name, Andy Sidaris, I'm like, oh, because you're the first person from the UK that I have seen ever mention Andy Sidaris.
Yeah, he never made it over here. I don't remember any of his films. Maybe Malibu Express is about the only one. But I haven't seen any of his on VHS or DVD. I had to import his DVD because it's not available here. Of 12 films, but yeah.
Right. Ricky saying Matt Chu. I don't know what that one is. Oh, Matthew from upstairs. Okay, I see it.
Yes. Someone decent.
Let's see, Matthew saying, Patrick, have you seen the UK show The Bill? No, I have not. No,
you're not missing anything.
Is that's the action? Isn't that the cop show you were saying earlier?
Yeah, it's been running since the 80s, so you got a lot of catching up to do.
Now, do you don't watch this show anymore?
No, I haven't watched it in 30 years.
I mean, do you watch any television at all? I mean, to me, it's like you've interviewed some people from the 80s, like Sam Furstenberg, Tommy McLaughlin, Fred Olen Ray, Matthias Hughes. Have you thought about interviewing some of the new generation of talent in your country? Have you watched a show like the Bill or Hovey and see somebody out there?
Well, I've been picking people that have more than one big thing, like from the 80s or 90s. So yeah, I haven't been picking anyone new or that I don't know really.
Is that something you think about you want to do going forward? I mean, do a mixture of both, old time Hollywood, and new talent. I mean, get fresh faces up there, because you would be doing them a tremendous service by interviewing them.
Okay, I could certainly look into it.
I think you should. I think you have a really nice way and a really good manner about interviewing. You're a good interviewer. Do you prep your questions beforehand, or you just let it fly like we're doing now?
I have talking points.
Okay.
So like if I go to interview someone like Tom McLaughlin, or Jack Shoulder, then I'd watch as many of their films as I could watch, and then make notes about the films and what happens in it and stuff that other people might not ask them about. Yeah,
it's sort of, it's funny is Garrett on the baby what, the baby charm?
Baby sham.
What's a
can't
baby?
Get any. Oh, it's Christmas. It'll be out soon. So yeah, it's sparkling wine, but in a very tiny bottle.
Oh, baby sham for baby champagne.
Yeah, it's like it's from like the 70s. It was very popular in the 70s and 80s for the ladies.
Yeah, but at least if you drink that, at least you're getting real champagne. At least you're not drinking like piss water, like other people do.
Well, yeah, I don't drink my piss at least. That's one thing.
I see. At least I know when I see you drink, Garrett. At least I know for sure that you're drinking something worth drinking. You're not drinking that Budweiser shit, that Colorado piss water.
Only once.
I'm still trying to break Ricky out of that habit. Especially in England, you guys have so many great beers in England, and you're drinking.
Oh yes, there's so many local ales he could support, but he's a cheap bastard. So
I'm just sitting there going like, okay, you go inside a bar, you see all this fine liquor, all these great, and then you go there. Then it's like going outside, grabbing an empty cup, go to the drain, and go like, I'm going to drink this. It's like, why, Ricky?
The man has no class. That's
Well,
the reason.
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know, especially when you have this American friends just sitting there going like, Ricky, don't drink that. We don't even drink that. That's like it's like the Australians, you know, when they had Fosters. You know, like,
I imagine that.
put a shrimp on a Barbie and they say drink Fosters, and then you go to Australia and they go like, dude, not a single Australian drinks that shit.
That is true.
They're going like, no, nobody drinks that. That's just all marketing. No Australians drink that shit.
It's ridiculous.
No, Ricky, that's a lie. That's a lie. Budweiser is not the king of beers.
He's just common, so to him it is the king.
It's the king. It's the king of the swamp water. Oh my god. Let's see. Matthews mentions that he's got some. He's got about the same number of tapes as Gareth. Matthews got like 3,000. You got 3,000. Nice.
Yeah, his stack goes backwards in racks.
Man,
so yeah, mine's single, but his.
I'm impressed. I really am. I mean, because I mean those. And how do you when they get break? Can you fix them? Is there any way to fix your tapes and once they break, or that's still it?
Yeah, you can tape them back together, but then that bit will be snowy for a few seconds.
Right, man. Are you afraid to play them?
Some of them.
Do you? And
anything here is all right. Like
do you go out and look?
I won't lose sleep if Freddy got fingered gets broken.
Oh God!
But some of the old X rentals, I would.
That's if I had to sit there and say, show us your favorite movie, and would that be the movie? Would that actually be the movie you would show me?
No, I've never seen it.
See, you know what that is? That movie there. That's like the Budweiser of movies. I'm not even kidding you.
I think it's Ricky's favorite.
Oh my God, that's nobody's favorite. Oh my! You never watched it before?
No.
Oh, you know what that tape would be good for? You know how you let's say you get like 4 or 5 boxes of new tapes, right? And you're taking them up there to your storage area. What you do is you take Freddy Got Finger and you put it and keep the door open before you walk in and out with the good.
I might do that. Yeah, I wouldn't be sad if that got chewed up, but yeah, something else I might.
I think there's a lot of do you find there's a lot of VHS tape? How do you get your VHS tapes? Do you trade in the UK for them?
Well, a Facebook Marketplace, old collections.
Okay.
People get rid of them, so I pick them up. But it's been quite dry the last few months. No one's been getting rid of any really. I think they've been hearing their worst. I think.
What's the average price to be just for information purposes? But what's the average price that people would pay for a VHS tape, or is it just totally subjective?
Well, for anything here, nothing.
Nobody pays nothing.
No, for X rentals, they might pay a few quid. For horror X rentals, they pay a lot of money.
What's your most rare tape that you have?
Maybe I should have been prepared. Hang on.
Besides, Freddy Got Fingered.
Well, that is quite rare. It's the only one I got.
Freddy Got Fingered. Oh my God. You know what? I see. Beer is horrid. Full stop. Yes, beer tastes terrible. A DVD and film book. I've only sliced a tape back on the leader. I would never slice a tape in the middle because I believe without proper slicing tape, it would damage the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you now? How many VHS players do you own? Not tapes, but players. Because I mean,
3.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
Luckily, they're good ones. I used to have 1 or 2 tapes up, but I got rid of it. And now I got 3 good ones. So yeah, I got this.
Let's see. Oh, Carrie. Okay.
So that's one of the old big boxes.
Nice.
Very old, nice Warners, but it's in good condition. Yeah, this was. I picked up a carload as my first big collection when I took someone's collection. and this was in it, so it's got some special memories. And then
let's see.
Sharky's Machine with Burt Reynolds.
Oh, Sharky's Machine. Okay, all right.
So that's another one. I think this is a preset. So when VHS came out in the UK, they didn't have any rules, so anyone could watch anything. So then they had to put these certificate stickers on, like that one there, 18 only.
That's right, because your channel name is Video Tasties, and that was just a counter to the Video Nasty, right?
Hey, someone knows.
Now, what dictated the Video Nasties? I mean, and what movies were on that list?
Al's doing the list, isn't he? He's going through some of them. It's stuff like Driller Killer, but that was only on there because of its poster. Actually showed someone being drilled in the head. The Slayer. Actually, I got some over there. Hang on, grab them. Evil Dead. Wow. Exorcist. Yeah, because The Exorcist you could only watch in one cinema in London once a week.
Now, was that? Do you feel that was the right thing to do, or do you feel like you should let people figure it out for themselves what to watch?
Yeah, if they hadn't made a fuss about it, no one would go to see it. As soon as you say, "Oh, it's banned," like this, so that's the cut version, Driller Killer.
Okay.
And then there's other stuff like, the Slayer. It's not a very good poster. But where is it?
Now, were they all American films that were stopped from being watched?
I think so. Like The Bogeyman, uncut.
Okay.
And since 1982. But Eaten Alive and stuff like that.
So it was pretty much foreign cinema that was are American films considered foreign cinema? Do you consider like when you get American films?
I don't think they are. No, I think if they're in English,
okay.
I think they're given a pass.
Ironically, incidentally, the BBC used the name Video Tasties to promote their videos in around 1983 or so. DVD and Film Blog says it's usually Italian films that were Video Nasty. Yeah, back when Italy used to have a film industry. Man, they've just vanished. Very rare now you see anything come out from Italy. That's a real shame.
Argento's still doing stuff, but I don't know if it's financed in Italy, but
it's just it's just really thin now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I was trying to figure that out. I mean, it's like the Video Nasties, and we're like, what would make them nasty? It was just the sheer violence of the thing, right?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, the people banning them hadn't seen them, so they just heard about it and then said, "I've seen a picture or a screenshot or something from it," and then thought, "Nope, we'll just ban that."
What's funny though is that the fact that your Video Nasties that were banned were based on violence, whereas the ones in America were banned, or NC-17, it was based on sex.
Yeah, I know.
That's just like Marilyn Chambers once said. She says only in America can you show a movie with a man kissing a woman's breast and have it be rated R, but show the same man stabbing it, and it's rated it's rated X, and the one stabbing is rated R. That always stuck with me when I heard her say that.
Yeah, that is odd, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. So, where do you? I mean, have you gone to any conventions looking for tapes? I mean, what are some of them? I mean, you mentioned Facebook Marketplace. Now, is that internationally wise, or is that just locally near you?
Just local, yeah, within an hour.
And you say that it's pretty thin right now.
Yeah, I haven't picked up anything for ages, months, 3 or 4 months now.
Wow. It's just cyclical, right?
Yeah.
Some
people
think
keep seeing the news they're worth something and keep them.
Right.
But then they've got this stuff like all this retail stuff which is worthless. But they think it's worth something.
Right. Now, who do you got coming up as far as interview series go? Who were some of the guests you got lined up? And
I don't think there's anyone until the new year now. I think William Lustig might be coming on in the new year. He's traveling at the moment. Aaron Norris is busy making a TV show, so probably won't be till the new year anyway. But
okay.
I'm not gonna. I slowed it down now because of Christmas coming up, so I thought less people will be able to do it, and I'll just start fresh in January.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm booking December for myself, and I'm having a bit of a time doing it because it's because of holiday season. I'm getting it there, but it's not going to be 100% Hollywood. I got some other creatives on there, which is fine. Are you gonna? Or is that something you're gonna do too? Maybe in the next year, will you diversify your interview series to include maybe YouTubers or other personalities doing something different, or are you just gonna strictly
I don't know. I was hoping to do more stunt people, but I haven't heard back from any of those. So
I might be able to turn you on to a few people there for that. I got three people.
Okay.
Yeah, I could definitely do that. They do that. I've interviewed a few stunt people already. Yeah. And it's in fact, the guest I was supposed to have last week, ironically,
yes, ironically, was
the stunt coordinator, and I just
did he get back to you at all in the last week?
No, you know what? Honestly, this is what I did. Maybe I overreacted to this or not, but I was just so freaking burned. It's one thing is when a guest sits there and says, "Hey, I can't do it. I got this happening or whatnot." Yeah. I understand that's the nature of the business. Like, hey, you could be sitting there saying, "Hey, I can book a show with you 2 weeks out," and then 2 days before the show, they get a call saying they got a gig. What can you do, right? You can't get upset at that. What really got me frosted was the guy. We booked the show. He actually looked me up. He asked me if I would interview him. He says, here. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll do that. It's nice. It's nice when someone looks you up. So I go ahead and look at his background. His background checks out. He calls me on the phone, which never happened. Never happened. I never take it. And then him and I talked for like an hour on the phone. It's golden. I explained exactly how we're doing it. Okay. And then the day of the show comes by and nothing. I hear nothing from him. But the thing is, though, I can see him on Facebook, and I can see he's been active. He's been on, and I've written to him going like, "Hey, we have a show tonight. Hey, where are you? Hey, it's time for you to come up." And nothing. I heard nothing. So I just said, you know what? That's so unprofessional. It's so unprofessional. I just blocked him. I blocked him. I blocked him all everything. I don't even want to have a chance. I don't want him to call me. I don't want him to. It's extremely unprofessional. It's like you said you have 30 years in the business. You of all people should know not to do that. You're not a kid. You got 30 years of work, and you're going to do that to somebody. I don't care if I do have a small channel. I'm still giving you a platform to talk about yourself that you didn't have before.
Jack Shoulder cancelled on me twice, but he let me know each time.
Sure, I understand that. Believe me, I've had that happen too. It's like, I like that. I always like to have people try to cancel like an hour before or a day before, so at least I could try to get somebody in there. But when you don't do it at all, it's just frost my cake.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hobbs is sitting there saying, "Let the Hulk out, Cheetah." That's right. Let the cheetah out. Let the cheetah out. That's right. Actually, he's sleeping underneath the blankets. Let's see. That's a frustration. I hope that you never find that out.
It's been every time. I think they've all been late apart from one. So they all. Right. I'm just sitting there waiting for them to turn up, and I know it's nerve-wracking.
I've had that too. I've had that. Where you're sitting there, you got the show booked, and everything else. You just you hold your breath until they get there. Like everything's supposed to be great. And then you just you sit there and you're looking at your bottom. You're waiting for that that red light to come on there, and it's like, and then once it does, then you go like, whew, all right, let's go.
Yep.
What else do you have planned for your channel next year?
I don't plan anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just do spur of the moment thoughts.
Okay.
That's my.
I get that. I'm one of those guys. I plan it out. To get it out there. I mean, I like to plan it out, like to book early. Find the guest early, and then because I think I asked you to do this about a month ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, Gareth, can you do it? It's like get real excited about it because it's like I know it's a month out, but I still want to get you in the book.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, I want to say this before we close, but I want to say again, thank you so much for letting me come out there and ask Matthias Hughes a couple of questions. I thought that was really cool of you, and I was that's one of the most cool. That's one of the biggest fanboy moments I've had on here. Because I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of his.
Well, so I like to do the interviews and get people on as well that like to speak to the people as well because I'm getting the chance to. So I think, well, why can't anyone else if they want to?
Yeah, that was really cool. I saw that and I'm like, man, I was like, I would love to do. A lot of times with me though, a lot of times I try to bring the whole chat into it and ask questions or whatnot. But man, sometimes this goes so fast, I just lose track of time, and before you know it, my time is up, and I'm like, oh, I'm trying to get questions up and in and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with Gareth.
Yeah, no problem.
I know that you and I are scheduled to do one more Andy Sidaris movie. I think how many you got left? You got like 6 left or 8 left?
There's quite a few. I think we've done 2, and I think I did one with Andrew Haunt. But yeah, I can next year I can do the same films again with someone else. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
That's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about doing something like Andy Sidaris. You can introduce it to a whole new generation. You're absolutely right. Yeah, that's a really good point. But no, I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us and talking. And this was a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to it. And thanks to the chat for coming out and supporting the interview. I really appreciate it too. Gareth was definitely he's definitely one of the coolest guys in our community. That's for damn sure.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed my time on your channel, both as a guest and in your chats. I learn a lot from you. I like your collection. I like the way you carry yourself, and I like the guests that you got me sitting over there going like, hell yeah, that guy's kicking ass. It always it always makes me happy when I see somebody else kick ass. Just what? Because it makes me work harder. It makes me so to me it's like, what, I want to be where he's at. So it just makes me push harder. So that's always a good thing.
Okay.
All right. I'll be back. Speaking of pushing things harder,
yeah,
I'll be back tonight with my second show. That's right. We're doing 2 shows today. We will be interviewing Ashley Sledge from Sledgehammer Horror tonight at 8 p.m. I know it'll probably be a little bit late for you to hang out with us for that, but definitely catch the replay. And we'll be there with Ashley at 8 o'clock tonight here on the channel. And then tomorrow, so talking about diversify, right? Tomorrow night, I am talking to a wildlife rehabber. Her name is Brenda. She's also known as Possum Mom. So she is, she rescues and rehabs opossums. And that'll be a really fun interview. And I met her yesterday, and super sweet lady. And then on Thursday, we'll be talking to film director Brandon Slagle. Will be here with us from the brand new movie, The Battle of Saipan, starring Casper Van Dien and Louis Mandalore. And he will be here on Thursday and to talk about that movie and his other movies. He's done movies such as Crossbreed, Attack of the Unknown, and The Dawn. The Dawn was a very good movie, very underrated. Supernatural horror, you say? I recommend that.
Right. I trust you over Al. So.
and he'll be here on Thursday at 8 o'clock. And yeah, so I will say goodbye to everybody. I will see you at 8 o'clock. You stay right where you're at for a minute, Gareth, and then everybody else.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Or good afternoon.
Or good morning.
Good morning.